But
you married?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
All right, Charlamagne.
I've been with the same woman for 24 years.
I think that's fantastic. She black?
Yes, sir. Hell yeah.
Is she black?
Dude, I absolutely
No, because I've heard you speak.
disagree.
I've heard you speak before about your blackness and stuff. So I thought you was one of the ones that were gonna sacrifice your loins to continue in this race. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just check in. Well, yeah, he said that shit, didn't he? He said it. So I'm like,
explain that now. What happened?
No, you speak about your blackness quite a lot, and,
Yes.
and then obviously I've seen your interview. So I'm like, let me just check that.
Make sure he's.
Oh yeah, exactly.
man.
No, that's real though.
Yeah.
I judge brothers like that too.
I'm not judging. I mean, anyone can do what they need to do, but I feel like when you speak in a certain way,
black men got to be with black women.
Yeah. When you spoken in that way,
Yes.
I'm like, let me just check my man's devoted at home.
I'm with you. People that talk so black, but then they sleep white, I'm like, ugh.
Well, have you ever dated a white woman?
Yeah, I have once. I dated one once.
How did that go?
When I was younger. Yeah, it was alright, but we were just chilling. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing serious like that. So, but naturally,
Could you bring a stormtrooper home?
Stormtrooper.
I've said it openly. It's just a preference. Like I like my women black. And I feel just separate from a political statement or anything like that. It's just they fine as hell. They melanin levels got to be over 75%. You know what I mean? Thickness got to be there. Style got to be there. We got to laugh at the same jokes. We got to bump to the same music. It's just got to be a flow.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
And you can't have conversations about white supremacy tearing apart black families, but you're not even trying to create your own.
I'm trying to have them conversations where I can talk my shit behind closed doors. Like I'm trying to say, woman, I don't. And she's like, yeah, baby, yeah, you right. That's what I need. You know what I mean? I need her to understand a black man's anger, frustration. I need her to understand when. Certain dudes walk into the room and the energy ain't right, and she's just like, calm down, baby.
That's
like,
right.
Chill. I need that. I need me a black
queen,
woman.
man. I'm with you, King. You ain't got to tell me.
We appreciate you.
British actor John Boyega faces backlash after stating his dating preference. I only date black.
How much you want to bet it was white women that were mad? How much you want to bet?
There's this hilarious post on Facebook right now about how John Boyega wants to date only black women, which, black love, hell yeah. But, white women are fucking having a field day. They're commenting things like, well, I only date musicians. Or, who are you? Trying to pretend like they don't know who he is. And then later commenting that they do know who that is. They just don't watch his movies. Or this one woman was like, I don't date men in turtlenecks or purple suits. Because that's what he's wearing. And I'm like, never have I ever been so offended by a celebrity's dating preference that I went onto Facebook and made it about me.
Worst movies. John Boyega, and I mentioned this a little bit at the end of the show yesterday, is making headlines because he said an audacious, shocking thing. He said that he, a black guy, only dates black women. To GQ, he said, I only date black. Then it's about chemistry, personality, goals. Is there a synergy? Can I help you? Can you help me? Again, it's kind of a tawdry and clinical way to view a love affair. Can I help you? Can you help me? Can we advance each other's interests? Okay, I love you, honey. No. Let's do it. Let's advance each other's interests. That's not what Cole Porter's saying. No. Not a great way to look at love, but he's saying, look, that's how it is. And then he got in trouble because he said he only dates black chicks. And when he got pushback, he said, when people talk about preferring brunettes or blondes, they're not talking about wearing a wig. My preference is not a topic for debate. And I agree with him here. Why is it wrong for a black guy to prefer to date black chicks? Why is it wrong for a Japanese guy to prefer to date Japanese chicks? Why is it wrong for a white guy to prefer to date white chicks? Oh, that's very wrong. You see, because John Boyega will get away with this. He ultimately won't get in trouble because black people can't be racist. If a Japanese guy wanted to date a Japanese chick, he probably wouldn't get in trouble. But if a white actor came out and said, I only date white chicks, it would be a national scandal. He would certainly be canceled from Hollywood. He would never work again. He would be called a Ku Klux Klansman. Why? Why? I don't see any problem with any of that for any people. One, it's difficult to control one's preferences. Not saying it's impossible to shape one's preferences, but genetics and the way that you are raised and culture and nurture are going to shape those things. Why is it that John Boyega has to date, I don't know, a Middle Eastern chick? Why does he have to date a white chick or a Chinese chick to advance political correctness? Is the man not allowed to have the love affairs that he wants? Is the man not allowed to pick the wife that he wants? Shouldn't that be the case for all of us? Why do we have to suppress perfectly ordinary, normal things all in the name of political correctness? I think it's fine. I hereby uncancel John Boyega. John Boyega, fine in my book. Those movies are not fine in my book, but John Boyega is fine.
The fact that a black man coming out saying that he only dates black women is news tell us a lot about the society, the world we live in today. Secondly, the fact that there is a backlash because a black man came out and said he only dates women that looks like him. It's crazy that before this man could say he only dates black women, he had to prefix his statement by saying first that this is not a political statement or like he said, separate from a political statement, ... The fact that he had to say this before he could say that he only dates black women, it's crazy. And this is not his fault now. This has nothing to do with John Boyega. It's a society, it's the world we are living in. It's crazy that a black man coming out to say he only dates black women could be misconstrued as something that is political and not seen as something that is, oh, he's black, so he's dating people that look like him. No news here, right? That's how it's supposed to be, but no, not in the world we live in today. Obamidele Adegboyega, a brother that you can be proud of with your full chest, though. With your full chest. A Nigerian brother that will not bring you shame. Brothers that will not bring you shame. These are the kind of brothers that we like. You understand? I'm just saying, okay? Unlike all those other ones that just came to life and they have sworn that their mission in this life is to embarrass their ancestors. Before you know, they are trashing black women all over the place, as if they did not come from a black woman, as if they did not come from a long line of black women. And this,
I know if I fuck with a black baby, we gonna have a black ass baby.
So?
I ain't with that.
We don't like black girls. What is wrong with that?
So if he could say that he likes skinny women, if he prefers skinny women more than a more chubby or heavyset women, he could say that and nobody won't get mad at him. I just said I don't like women with my complexion. I like light-skinned women. I want you to be lighter than me. I love African-American women, but I just don't like my skin complexion.
Okay. Well, I like your skin complexion.
We too gutter. Black people, my complexion, we too gutter. Light-skinned women, they most sensitive, you know?
There's some dark-skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they too tough. They too tough. Light-skinned women, we could break them down more easy.
This is the thing. This is not me saying you cannot like whoever you want to like or you cannot prefer whoever you want to prefer. Actually, it's none of my business to begin with in the first place. Plus, honestly, I don't care. But when you want to prefer your preference and then you come out on the internet and you're trashing other people and speaking ill about other people and dragging them through the mud so you can put your preference on the pedestal, that's where the problem is. You see the way this man that have sense, that have good training came out and said, oh, this is what I prefer. He did not drag other races of women through the mud for him to declare that he's into black women. He came out and he said, I'm into black women. And like the king that he is, he respected himself and respected other people. And while stating his preference.
If Boyega has this preference and it's not putting down other types of women, that's his prerogative. How many times have we seen or heard the opposite? It makes sense for people to date or marry their own racial counterparts. How many times have we seen black women complain about black men not having their back? Now we have one who's openly saying he does. And in some circles, this is seen as controversial or problematic. Peep game here. For so long, non-black or lighter-skinned women have been at the forefront. So now that a black man prefers darker-skinned black women, it's a problem. Make it make sense.
Boyega's comments as hypocritical and contradictory. As Ada on Twitter said, John Boyega saying he dates only black women isn't a problem. Double standards is a problem. If a white actor said they only dated white women, many would not defend his right to have preferences. They would call him racist. The rules have to stay consistent, that's all. So does this show how deep the hypocrisy is, which lies in the heart of the elite when it comes to issues such as race? Joining me now to discuss this is activist and organiser of BLM protests Iman Ayton and political commentator Dominique Samuels. First of all, thank you both so much for joining me. I want to start with you, Iman. Try and keep it not too spicy. Is John Boyega a racist?
No, of course not. That's utterly ridiculous. No, he's not. So let's just start with laying it out there, okay? So this is about personal preferences, and personal preferences are influenced by many different factors, such as experiences, good, bad, and shared. Values, friends, family, and of course, cultural and societal norms. So let's just take all of that into consideration and use education as an example. Okay. So if someone was educated from Eton, it's quite likely that they'll have preferences, and their attraction is likely to be towards someone that is educated. The likelihood of that individual finding someone who is, I don't know, has very little education, no job or career prospects, and is currently on universal credit, that's unlikely in terms of that level of education.
These things are
okay, and that's due to the aforementioned factors. So the point I'm trying to make, Calvin,
go on,
is that I think it's quite ludicrous to penalise someone because of their personal preferences. We're influenced by all of these factors that I mentioned.
All right, thank you. We'll come back to you. Dominique, is this a personal preference or is this racial discrimination?
Look, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's racial discrimination as such, because, you know, you can't attack someone for having a racial preference in terms of dating, because whether we like to admit it or not, I think we all have an overarching preference in terms of the people we'd like to date. The problem is that the world that John Boyega inhibits, which is the virtue signaling, Hollywood world, they would see that as racist if a white person had said it. So it opens up a whole question about what sort of standards are allocated for certain groups. I personally think based upon sort of their social justice points. With black people, they're allowed to openly state they only date one race. But when it comes to white people, or even, cis women or cis lesbian or a cis gay person, they're not allowed to state their actual preferences without being called a transphobe, without being called a racist, without being called a bigot. So John Boyega is allowed to have his preference, that's fine, but it does highlight a hypocrisy that runs deep at the heart of the social justice movement.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. On this film, melanin levels had to be over 85%. I mean, this is not just black women, this dark-skinned black women who haven't had the opportunity to do this, being given the main center stage. And for me, that's something special. I came from a black woman. So for me to see a project that highlights black women in this way, but also highlights black women with talent, the actual skills and ability to do this, is something special. And I can only say it's promising for the rest of the industry in the future.
Backlash. John Boyega is a young brother that I really like. And one of the reasons why I like him, not only is he a good actor, he is an activist. A lot of the young brothers and brothers today, the Van Jones, guys like this, Jamie Foxx, they do one thing that really irks me. They talk black, they sleep white. And Brother Boyega says something that's controversial. He says he only dates black. It's about chemistry, personality, goals, and synergy. He's disciplined in the kind of woman he wants. And it's easier for him to date black women because he understands what he's getting into. They have similar backgrounds, realities, and understandings of nonverbal and social cues. Now, I want to talk about that's very, very elaborate how he explained it. Okay? And why Brother John Boyega can go with what he's talking about and why it may be difficult for some black men. Let me say this. Number one, Brother John Boyega is a celebrity. He is from London. Being from London, although the UK is very westernized, it's going to be very easy for him to deal with women who still have some culture intact, especially Nigerian British, African British. That's a lot different than what some of the brothers are dealing with in the States. Okay. Number two, he is a celebrity. All right. And his parents have been together for 30 years. And it's very easy for him to be with a black woman who has that similar background. Okay. So being black and only dating black queens is not that bad when you have achieved a certain level of success. I believe that the issue comes in with the working class and middle class black men. Here's where the rubber is going to meet the road for certain brothers. A lot of brothers who are not in the higher socioeconomic classes may not have the same experience as Brother John Boyega. I'm not saying that they can't, because I believe that they can. But the reason is for other reasons. Brother John Boyega has left out any fact or any idea that I can even creep up on dating somebody white. Same thing with me. I have not even allowed that to become a possibility. So I don't even really know what to compare it to. I just hear from what you guys tell me. But for me, in order for me to deal with something, it has to be black. It has to be in the African American community, or it has to be African. That's the only thing that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for nothing else. So it forces you to deal with your own community. For other black men, though, may not see it that way. And this is where a lot of black men are in the middle. And I want to tell black women that not every black man is going to be like Brother John Boyega. Every black man not going to be like Brother O'Shea or Brother Dr. Umar Johnson. There are going to be some black men who are going to be like, well, I'm not going to just deal with you because you're black. I'm going to deal with you because you're good. And I think here are the kind of guys that we are losing in Black America, in the black world. Because see, if we just deal with black people for the fact that they're black and that we love them, what is the incentive for them to be good? What is the incentive for the black man to actually come to the table with something, or the black woman? So now what's happening is a lot of black men who don't see it quite as effective are saying, like, hey, I don't care a damn about social cues. I don't care about nonverbal communication. If the woman don't respect me, if she don't have respect for black men, if she doesn't understand her role in the relationship, if she doesn't like male leadership, hey, listen, it don't matter. Because if I'm not going to get respected, I don't care nothing about realities and understanding the nonverbal cues and social cues, because she needs to have the reality of understanding me as a man. And if she can't do that, I can't deal with her. Whereas a lot of brothers who are coming from a little bit more of a professional background or more of a socioeconomic advantage, they have the ability to say, listen, I'm already desired. So if you're not going to do something, you're gone. Some of the brothers in the working and middle class may not be able to make that statement, which is why a lot of guys from the working and middle class and soon to be upper middle class are shopping themselves on the market. Because I'm just going to be real. A lot of black men, depending on their mentality and depending on what their pocketbook says and where they can go, let me just tell you this. Having money and influence really helps the ability of people that you can date, because you can do more things. You're attracted to a higher quality of people. If you're the working class or middle class guy, and there's nothing wrong with that because our middle class is great, but those black men are not getting the same opportunities as somebody like John Boyega. And if they only deal with folks in the black race, they may never get the kind of wife that they want.
For loving black women, I hope this cannot be true, right? This is John Boyega, a British actor, known, played in the Star Wars movies. Real good actor, I feel like, very underrated. But you can't even like your own people, it seems like. He says, look, I only like black women. I ain't looking to get married. If you know, you know. Black women are the most beautiful women in the world. Beautiful. Love them. And it's a shame that people have caught offense to him loving black women. That's crazy, but keep on loving the queens, brother. Keep on loving them.